In a world of rat and ruin, dear, you're my shelter in the glow. With your Pip-Boy on your wrist.
Welcome back to the Dusty Signal, my little devils. Pull up close tonight. Pour yourself something warm and get comfortable. Because tonight's tape is a different kind of animal. So far, we've been listening to Nate Campbell react to this wasteland. For 14 days, he's been reacting to what came at him. His family destroyed. Giant bugs, death claws, raiders, tunnels and grief and guilt, and all manner of things this wasteland has seen fit to throw at him. And he's handled every bit of it. Adapted, dealt with it, kept moving. But tonight, our boy's not reacting to anything. Tonight, he's hunting. Now, I'd be doing this tape a disservice if I didn't mention who's really leading this hunting party. Dogmeat. That dog's been by Nate's side through more miles of broken wasteland than most people cover in a year. And tonight, he earns every bit of trust Nate has placed in him. That dog's got a nose that doesn't lie, and a heart that doesn't quit. The Commonwealth could learn something from that dog. And Nate, despite needing revenge, needing answers, he continues to surprise. Tape 14 is now rolling.
Log 014, November 5th, 2287. I'm back at the Dugout Inn, room 2. It's morning. Nick, Dogmeat, and I have been moving for 30 hours straight. Right now, I just need to get this down while I can still string a sentence together with some form of structure. I'll start from this morning. We left Diamond City to start the hunt for Kellogg. Dogmeat found the trail almost immediately and started heading northwest. We hadn't gotten that far from Diamond City, still in the downtown area, when I heard a woman screaming for help down a side street. Went toward it on instinct. She pointed at a door, said they're inside, needed help, and bolted inside. Yeah, sure, lady. That's not how people who actually need help behave. But I needed to see what this was, one way or the other. I told Nick and Dogmeat to hold position, and I went in, low and slow. Good thing I did. Heard them talking before I saw them. 2 guys talking louder than they should have. Planning. Well, much less planning, and much more unearned bravado and unleashed dumbdassery. This wasn't a rescue. It was a setup. They'd been luring people into that store. Good people. The kind who hear someone scream and go running. And gunning them down the second they walked into the store lobby. 4 of them. 2 men, 2 women. 4 people that looked around this broken world and decided they could break it further. That just pissed me right the fuck off. This little scheme was ending in blood. Right now. I slowly worked my way through the kill zone they'd hastily assembled. Shelving units arranged to funnel their victims in. I took my time and found a place to hide behind the last shelf that gave me a view of the room and waited. Idiots like these wouldn't have the patience that an experienced operator has. The first 2 never even knew I was there. They stood up to investigate and were quickly dispatched. Bullets sent from the shadows. The third, a woman, came out with her hands up, running towards me. She was frantically yelling that she was forced into this, that she needed my help. As she got close to me, though, she drew a pistol and fired wide. I put 3 rounds in her and snuffed her life. Belly, chest, face. I let weapon climb do the work. If you've ever fired a gun in rapid succession, You've noticed that it wants to climb with each successive shot. Experienced warriors use this to their advantage to paint the tango using what's called the zipper drill. It's lethally effective. The last raider, also a female, gave her position away by screaming something about my mother. I don't know. I put a round in her head and shut her up. Check the warehouse and back. Bodies. A lot of them. This had been going on for a while. This world. We should be helping each other survive out here, not turning kindness into a kill box. Met back up with Nick and Dogmeat. Nick asked why I did it. I just looked at him, genuinely confused by the question. Why wouldn't I? Either somebody needed help or somebody needed stopping. He thanked me. That caught me off guard. I've spent most of the last 2 weeks being a weapon, having someone thank me for being a person. I didn't have a response ready for that. I just nodded and moved out. Dogmeat picked the trail back up like nothing happened. Took us to a creek. Chair, table, one of Kellogg's cigars sitting right there like he just stepped away. His brand. No mistaking it. We're on him. I patted Dogmeat on the head. He bounded off, back on the trail, tail wagging. From there, we moved out to an old train depot. Looked like Kellogg had cleared out a raider camp there himself. Whoever this guy is, he can operate. Good to know. Means he will be confident in his ability to handle a grieving father. Railroad tracks after that. Dogmeat was moving faster now, nose to the ground, totally focused on the trail when something came out of the tree line. It looked like a bear, but wrong. Too big, too fast, too mangy. It caught me by surprise. I had been too focused on Dogmeat to see it. It was almost on top of me before Dogmeat hit it broadside. Bought me the half second I needed. Emptied the combat shotgun into its flank. It went down, but it wasn't dead. Nick was there firing as well, and that bought me the few moments to reload the shotgun with the last of my 12 rounds. I have 4 left. That is not acceptable. Dogmeat saved my bacon. Again. This dog, I swear. Found another of Kellogg's stops. Looked like Kellogg sat here too. I'll admit, by this point I wasn't moving tactically anymore. I was moving fast. Too fast. Got us ambushed by a pack of feral ghouls. My emotions were running on rocket fuel. Dogmeat took some real damage that time. 2 stims on him, 1 on myself. My shotgun is now a club. Had to remind myself, I won't find Sean if I'm dead. We kept moving. A few miles up the road, we saw some kind of robot. Nick called it an assaultron. Said they're dangerous, real dangerous. But this one wasn't. It laid there repeating something about not feeling its legs, which made sense. It had been ripped in half? Whatever did this to it left one of Kellogg's cigars sitting right next to the pieces. Smug bastard, leaving his calling card on top of a dying killing machine. And then we saw it. Fort Hagan. I know that name. Pre-war, I was stationed there. Before the unit, before any of that. Just an infantryman, learning how the army actually worked day to day. It wasn't bad duty. Honestly, it was good. The fort had everything. Barracks, a pool, a little shopping strip, a bar everyone went to on Friday nights. Felt more like a small town than a military post some days. I remember one evening, end of a training day. I was heading out the north gate toward the bar, me and a couple guys from my platoon, already talking about what we were gonna drink. And I saw her. She was coming out of the JAG building, across post, southeast side, civilian, a lawyer, I found out later. She had a folder under one arm, fighting with it because the wind kept catching the pages. Dark blue blazer, hair pulled back but coming loose from the wind. It was late September. That smell right before fall really hits. Cut grass, somebody grilling somewhere. That first cold edge in the air that tells you summer's done arguing about it. I didn't even know her name yet. Just stood there for a second like an idiot while my friends kept walking. Nora. What am I doing? I'm sitting here, talking about a folder and the smell of cut grass when I should be. Fort Hagan is right there. Was right there. I went in. I fought through it. I found Kellogg. I can't. Not right now. I physically cannot put the rest of today into words right now. I'm not avoiding it. I don't have anything left right now. I've been awake too long, and if I try to push through this part, I'm going to get it wrong. And this part matters too much to get wrong. I need to sleep. I'll finish this when I wake up. This is Staff Sergeant Nathaniel Campbell. Out. For now.
Cut grass. Somebody grilling somewhere. That first cold edge in the air that tells you summer's almost ready to pack it in for a spell. I've never experienced any of those things. Not the way he described them. Not in a world where they meant safety, normalcy. I've never felt safe enough to make plans with friends. You gotta have friends first. To just move about freely, without a care in the world. That pre-war life must have been something. Can you even imagine a world so safe that people just met up? Not for trading, not for safety or hunting or killing, but just because there weren't nothing else to do? Sugar. That's a different kind of world entirely. Let's talk about what just happened on that tape. Because there's more to unpack than you might think, and I want to do it right. First, that hardware store scheme. 4 people looked around this broken world and decided the best use of their time was turning kindness into a weapon. Luring good people, the kind who hear a scream and run toward it instead of away, and punishing them for it. Killing them for it. That's not survival. That's something uglier than survival. That's a choice. An ugly choice for ugly people. And Nate walked in alone. I have a feeling he knew exactly what he was walking into, too. But he walked in anyway. Afterwards, Nick asked him why he did it. And Nate looked at him like the question didn't make sense. Like the answer was so obvious it barely needed saying. Either somebody needed help, or somebody needed stopping. Sugar. We've all met these people out there in the wasteland. Hard people. Broken people. People who decided a long time ago that the only sensible response to a world this cruel was to become part of the cruelty. Hell, we probably expect to be met with cruelty before a stranger even has a chance of saying hi. Now, that's just the way of the wasteland. But here comes a man from a different time, a different viewpoint, and he ain't having none of what the wasteland is trying to serve him. And that's such a strange thing to see out here, that Nick Valentine thanked him for being, what? Just a good person. Think about what that means. A man who has spent 2 weeks being a weapon, clearing vaults, watching people die, making calls that cost him sleep, getting thanked not for any of that, but for walking into a hardware store because somebody screamed. He didn't have a response ready for that. I'm not surprised by that. Now, the hunt itself. Dogmeat ran that trail like he was born for it. Creek, raider camp, railroad tracks. Every stop Kellogg made, that dog found it. Nose down, tail up. Completely certain in a world that offers certainty to almost nobody. There's something to be said for that kind of faith. The kind that doesn't require proof. Just a scent and a direction, and the willingness to keep going. I think that's what Nate needed today. Something that certain, moving beside him. Now, he admitted something in that tape that I want you to catch. He stopped moving tactically, started running, got tunnel vision on the trail, and stopped watching his flanks. For old Nate Campbell, that's the equivalent of a complete system failure. That man moves tactically the way most people breathe, without thinking, without choosing. It just happens, until he loses focus. Today, Kellogg was close enough to smell, and 12 days of grief and rage finally got loud enough to drown out all his training. It almost cost him Dogmeat. He caught it, corrected, kept moving. That's the discipline showing up, even when the emotion is winning. Not eliminating the feeling, just refusing to let it make any more of the decisions. There's a lesson in that for all of us. And then, Fort Hagan, and her. A dark blue blazer, hair coming loose in the wind, a folder she couldn't quite hold on to, the smell of cut grass and somebody's grill, and that first honest breath of autumn. He didn't even know her name yet. But all it took was a look. Just a look. And he stood there like an idiot while his friends kept walking. I want you to understand something about what just happened on that tape. What he just revealed about the kind of man he is. Nate Campbell, a man who took down a deathclaw, who cleared a vault without breaking stride, who is by all definitions a warrior, a killer, saw a woman he didn't know and just stopped. Now, I can't tell you what that feels like. I ain't got no idea about lovin'. I've known passion, desire, lust, but never love. Not for a person, anyway. But his mind went there, on purpose. Maybe not consciously, but on purpose. Because what came next was too much to carry without stopping somewhere safe first. I do know that feeling, though. Not the memory. I don't have memories like that. Not a September evening, or a woman with a folder, or friends walking ahead of me towards somewhere easy. But the instinct, the way the mind finds the one warm thing it has left and holds on to it for just a second before it has to face what's coming. I know that instinct very well. He said her name, just the one word, Nora. And then he caught himself, tried to keep going, tried to finish the AAR, but he couldn't. I'm not going to tell you what he found in that fort tonight. That story belongs to the next tape. What I will tell you is this. A man who has been running on rage and grief and mission focus for 30 hours made the decision to rest before finishing, so he wouldn't rush through, wouldn't skip anything. That's not weakness, sugar. That's a man recognizing limits, his limits, and respecting them. Even now, even here, even after everything, Nate went back to her. That's love doing what love does. He signed off differently tonight. You catch that? Not his usual clean sign-off. Not the rank and the name and the period at the end. Out. For now. For now. 2 words that say everything about where he is right now. The mission isn't done. The recording isn't done. He isn't done. But he needs to stop. Just for a few hours. Just long enough to put something down and pick it back up when he can carry it properly. The courier network's been humming. Letters finding their way to me from out there in the static. Every one of them matters. If this tape stirred something in you, if you've got a memory like that, a safe place your mind goes when something too big is coming at you, write in. Tell old Dusty all about it. You don't have to share the details, but if you do, I'll read every word. That matters more than you know, sugar. Next tape, we get to hear the story of a reckoning. Until then, go ahead and count your rad roach eggs before they hatch. Because who's gonna stop ya? Stay close to the signal. Stay alive. Stay strange. Dusty. Out.
Stay close, my vault dweller. Don't roam too far from me. With you I build our paradise beneath the desert sea. Oh my Callan, you make my heart far away.
This is Garrett Klein, the one-man creative force behind the Dusty Signal podcast and the solo creator for Classic Me Studio. The Dusty Signal is a fan fiction audio drama that's set in the Fallout 4 universe. Fallout and all related properties are owned by Bethesda Game Studios, and no copyright infringement is intended. This is and always will be a free, non-commercial production. Created, written, and produced by Garrett Klein for Classic Me Studio. Voices were created using 11 Labs AI voice technology. Original song, Vaulted Heart, was created using 11 Labs music generation software. Sound design from Audio Hero, 11 Labs, and My Imagination. Genuinely thank you for listening, and I hope you're enjoying it.